Hi guys, welcome back to my video. I'm ready to start my next period of stitching, and in this time my rotation is going to be dedicated to samplers. I'll call it sampler madness. I browsed through all of my collection and I've chosen the designs that I associate with sometimes clearly, sometimes not really. I associate with samplers, and you probably haven't seen this design before because I didn't even show it in my whip during my whip parade, because I have controversial attitude towards it. I mean, it's not controversial. I love it. I like it. But I cannot get the digital pattern for this design, and the pattern that comes with the design isn't the most easy to work with. I've been reaching out to the designer. I've been trying to get the digital pattern for this design, but it's unavailable at the moment. So this is this beautiful, I think it's a sample dedicated to autumn, because you can see pumpkins, plums, acorns, grapes, nuts, everything. These are like autumn fruits. This is what I have on the canvas at the moment. So I think if you look at the pattern, I'm somewhere here. So maybe it's like a quarter of the design is done. I've been trying to come up. There's nothing more on the canvas, that's why I'm not unfolding it. I've been trying to come up with different approaches, with different ways of progressing it, because as I said, it's not the design. The design is pleasant. It's simple. The colors are beautiful. It's just primarily it's about the backstitch, because it's quite hard to trace it using the paper chart, and I mean, it requires more effort to stitch according to the paper chart than it would if you had a digital pattern. I'm showing it to you hoping that in this stitching period I will be able to add some progress on it. I would really want to, but I do not know how it's gonna turn out. But that is the first sampler that is in my sampler rotation. Coming up next, it's a calendar originally from Riolis. It is an original kit, but I do not have the preview because, as in many cases, I for some reason decided that I do not need it. That's why I left it at home when I was leaving Ukraine. The ready design will look like this. I mean, as you can see, I have only 3 months ready. It's January, February, and March, and we're here in May. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to add three more pieces in this run, but I will try to do my best. So, I mean, it's easy to trace progress in this design because it has 3 ready-made elements, and we'll see if any or maybe more elements will be added in the course of these, I don't know how many days of May. You have seen this another sampler. It's a companion to one of my finished works that I've shared with you a couple months ago. It is designed, it's not originally from Dream Pattern. It is some other producer, I mean some other brand, but I have a Chinese replica. I think it was my January start, but I'm not so sure at this point. Hold up. Yes, it was one of my January starts. And although it seems like there isn't much added to this design, but it's almost 10%, I mean 9% through, which is great. I love when the work progresses this quick. So yeah, that's gonna be another sampler that I will try to work on in this run. Some of the designs I'll be showing are not that prepared. I have just the pattern. I do not know who's the brand, who's the designer is. I just found, it wasn't me who found this design. It was another Flosstube that I watched, and she was showing all these fairies. There are 12 of them, and they're like, I mean, each month, they are called birth fairies. It's like each month has its own fairy. Since I'm born in September, I'm starting with September fairy. I have all 12 of them. I don't know if I'm gonna finish all of them ever, or if it's gonna be just this one. Do not know anything. I just know that I'm gonna be using a smaller piece of canvas for it, because I would like to frame it like a separate, not just like a wholesome calendar, but just like, you know, the pieces that you can leaf through depending on the season. So, well, still, since there are 12 of them, I consider them a sampler. Let's move on. That's gonna be a start. Another sampler I've enjoyed working with owl forest designs. I recently finished my irises, and I decided that I want to start something else. And this is the one that I have many of their patterns in my stash, but this one I had like pre-kitted. It came with 18 count Ada, white Ada, but I specifically ordered it on 18 count because I knew that I'm not gonna be stitching on the 18 count, and I'm going to switch it to some other canvas. And I have even chosen one. It is canvas from Painting Fairy cross stitch store. I think it's a closer equivalent of 25th count of Lugana. I have a few concerns. I have a few things that I want concerning this this canvas, but I will talk about them more after I work with it. This is how the design is going to look. I'm on this kind of light mint canvas. This is the design is called Gorgeous Poppies. So one more start in to my whips. Also, I did not know if you'll get why it is going to be a sampler, but in my mind it just is. It is I don't know how do you say it correctly. It is a birth matrix. I found this pattern online. I know that it is an original design from Dimensions. I do not have the kit, I just have the floss, the pattern, and the canvas. I've been thinking about various designs, but I've chosen this. I think that's gonna wash away. I've chosen this Ada. It is probably some Chinese Ada that I dyed with something. I do not know what exactly, probably coffee or tea, do not know. I just like the count of it. I like the consistency, I like the texture of it, because it is one of those canvas that turn velvety soft after you either wash them or dye them. I don't know which action does the trick. I think it's probably the combination of both. So that's gonna be yet again one more start. So I think in this run we'll have 3 starts. I hope you are as excited about them as I am. And I'll show you how the things turn out in a few days. I don't know, do not know how much time I'm going to spend on this run, but hopefully all of these, they aren't many. How many are they? 1, 2, 3, 6. I think they are 6. Hope I will show you some fine progress in a few days. And I'm back with some pretty much satisfactory progress on my sampler whips. I want to start with this. I don't remember. There's something, the name of this process, it's a designer pattern. It's something connected to autumn. Maybe autumn wealth. I don't remember. I don't remember because I don't have a digital pattern from the author, because I tried, as I said before, I tried multiple approaches and it didn't work out. So when I started this stitching period, my sampler whip period, I was kind of reluctant. I know that I showed it to you, but it didn't put any weight on me, because I knew that I might be not able to progress this pattern because of the paper chart. So it was I just set it aside into my current whip pile, and I was working with different processes. So it wasn't the first one that I started this run with. I set it aside, and I was reluctant to give it a try, but then something clicked. I was like, why not? Well, at least I'll try. If nothing comes out, I'll set it aside and continue with something else. And I think that the progress is quite noticeable, because what I had before, it was probably up to here, or maybe even up to here. Maybe this plum was already ready, but these 2 rows weren't complete. And this is one of those times when I had a kind of a sort of a revelation that organization and the approach matters tremendously. Since I'm mostly stitching using digital patterns, they speed up and ease up the stitching process. With paper chart, you have to find this special method that allows you not only to progress the process at the speed that you want it to, but also eliminates the major possibility of a mistake, because I'm not a fan of black and white paper charts. I prefer colored ones, but this one is also, I mean, it is kind of readable, but when you work with all those similar colored symbols, like the green ones, these beige colored ones, as you can see, there's the symbol S, there's the arrow, there's a equality sign, there's this weird sign, and there's also a little circle, so it may be confusing. It is easy to miss one. What I did before, I was trying to, like, for instance, let's work with this purple background with a red triangle. I was gonna, if I start here, for instance, I was going to fill it out and then going to go here, and try to eliminate this symbol all over this visible area. And then when I set that process aside, and considering, and this one has been in my outsiders for a while, I would forget which one was this symbol, what I did before. So it was confusing, and it put a lot of unwillingness on me. I didn't want to work out all this confusion, figure out which colors are already stitched, which aren't. I tried crossing out, I tried coloring. It didn't help, because there's also backstitch. If you cross out the regular symbols, you also might color the backstitch, and then you have to go back and try to figure out which is which. So it is unnecessary strain. And why work with something so challenging if you have, like, I don't know, 70 or 80 more simpler processes, right? But then I think it is called parking method, but surely you've noticed those hanging strands. I know they might not, they actually do not look that neat as as a process without them would, but it helps me progress it. So it isn't the newest approach, it is new to me. So for instance, I take one square 10 by 10, and let's start with this arrow symbol. So I start here, I finish it within this square, and I park my thread, my floss, in the top right corner of the next square. So I finish this one, and I park the floss where I would start this one. Since I'm working from right, from right to left, and from left and cover from left to right, I park it here. Then I go with the S symbol. I finish it here, and look where is the next S symbol in the upper square. So I park my floss here. If I go with this red triangle, well, here it was a bit different, because it would be, I don't know, unwitty to just park it here. So I started here, went here, and then I filled out the second square and parked my needle here. So I'm gonna bring the sign closer so that you can see actually what I'm talking about. See, that's some of the strands you can finish filling out the area because some of them are more some colors are more represented than the others. But for instance, I started working with green ones. There were like 6 symbols of the same color, and I had to park in the another one. Here I made it a bit out of the corner just for the sake of even stitching, because if you finish the row like an even line and then set it aside for a while, it may, when you finish the design, there will be this visible stretch between rows, between your approaches. It depends how often you stitch it and stuff. Also, I had, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you've seen probably that I had these like presents from Painting Fairy cross stitch when they sent me the designs I ordered from them. I've seen people using them. I knew they were used for parking, but I didn't know how to use them. For me, they looked like average bobbins, and I didn't know what to do with them. But here you roll the floss, and then you flip one side so that it secures the floss. Honestly, I've seen it just recently. I was watching another Flosstuber, and she showed me this approach, and I actually appreciated it because I have a couple of designs that I don't have a digital pattern for, and I think that my stitching method and these parking devices will help me, well, if not finish this and other designs, then progress them and make sure they don't remain in my outsiders box, because if you look at the pattern, it is absolutely marvelous, and I want to finish it because it's so interesting. It has so many elements, so many designs to it, and I think I will, from now on, when I was planning my different whip rotations, I added it to the sampler rotation only because I didn't know where else I would be able to put it. Besides, I didn't know how well it may progress. But now I think I have a couple more categories where I can add it to. Well, I didn't count. I mean, I could have counted. So like I have 2 rows, like 6.5. So maybe there, including backstitch, and maybe there is around 1,000, maybe 1,500 stitches added. It doesn't matter much in this case. What matters to me is that it got progress, and I think it's gonna go much easier from now on. I dedicated probably way too much time to a single design, but this is my bag, by the way. I'm not a, how do I say it? I wouldn't say that I'm not a fan of even backside or perfect backside of the design. I don't, as I said it before, I don't know why I would spend my time on trying to handle the perfect backside of the design if I'm gonna look at the front anyway. But it's a personal decision and opinion of every separate stitcher. So the next design that I was working on was this sampler. I don't know how it's called. I don't know what its original name is. For me, it's just a sampler, but Flowers in the Greenhouse. That's the name that Chinese brand gave it. This is the floss. It is a bit tangled now because, you know, it's a work in progress. And I must say that I managed to progress it pretty well over this run. Let's put it that way. To be more precise, I added almost 1100 stitches on this design, and it's over 26%. So I have like a little less than 4,500 stitches left. The time when I showed it to you, I remember clearly that I had this orchid row and a bit of this ornament. Maybe I've even started the fire, but this is the corner I have been working on, and I think that it is completely, yes, mostly. I still didn't finish the stream. It is completely almost completely finished. I'm gonna show you my stitches. I truly enjoyed working with orange colors, and first of all, as for a sampler without variegated floss, and as for a Chinese kind of replica, I think that the outcome deserves appraisal, I would say. I don't know. Something wrong with the focus. Why? I think it's better now. So I'm very much satisfied with this sampler and the outcome, and I've seen like other samplers from this series, but they are pretty new, and I don't think that the Chinese replicas are going to be available anytime soon, and the original patterns aren't available at the moment, so I'm gonna set it aside till next time. I don't know if I've added it to any other of my categories except for my monthly projects, those that I try to finish over the course of a month, if they reach the point of 6,000 stitches. Spoiler alert, this month I didn't manage to make a finish, but it's okay. Doesn't bother me much. Okay, let's move on. This was the start of this my stitching period is I don't know how it's properly called, birth matrix. Oh, I mean, it's a picture where you stitch the newborn baby's name, weight, and birthday. So it's like a personal kind of a birth certificate. This is what I've managed to do in this run, and I must tell you that I'm kind of surprised because I just looked at the stats, and I almost added 1,800 stitches in this design, and I'm almost 22% through. It may not look like it, but I think that because of the back stitch, it counts this fast. And overall, the design is simple, and I love the canvas because the Ada is pleasant to work with. I dyed it myself. I pre-gridded the whole thing to see if I have enough of room to frame it later on. So almost 1/4 of the design is done, and I'm quite satisfied with the outcome. Can't wait to stitch the teddy bear. I think it's gonna look marvelous. Besides, I think that the size is pretty much easy to fit into store-bought frame. It's like 14 by 23, but we could make it like 15 by 25 easily, with just leaving a bit of space. So what else can I tell you about it? I'm not gonna show you the the rest of my organization. I'm not gonna show you the floss organization because it is completely insane. It's like I have scraps of different organizers. And I think it's falling apart. It fell apart even more at this point. But it's okay. The only thing that matters is that I hope I will be able to make it out the next time I'll try to stitch this design. I think I will be you will be seeing it from time to time, because I want to have it ready by September. So I have like a little over 6,000 stitches remaining, including back stitch and decorative stitches. So I have like 3 months to go. Hopefully, surely, I have to believe in myself. I will be able to finish it on time. So that was another start, and I must tell you, quite good progress. I had a fair share of starts in this stitching period. This one is called Gorgeous Poppies by Owl Forest. I had it, as you can see, I have the kind of a pre-kitted, I have a design, I have a kit by the same Chinese brand that you've seen my sampler from, and the only thing that it came with 18 count Aida, and now I think I can, and I like stitching on an 18 count Aida because I figured that it doesn't matter much about the count. It matters about the materials that you use more. But anyway, I didn't want to stitch it on 18 count. I wanted it bigger, and I wanted it on something like fancier, like hand-dyed, or like how do you call it, store-dyed canvas. So I chose this 25 count Aida. It's probably the equivalent of Lugana. From Painting Fairy cross stitch store. I told you that I wasn't fully satisfied with this canvas, and let me explain why. Right now, it is like normal canvas. It is a bit harsher than other even weaves that I have, but it is okay to work with. But when it came, it was so rigid that you could probably slice something with it. It was impossible to work with unless you work with a frame. I don't have frames. I primarily work with hoops. But even if you had it on the frame, it was so rigid that I think that the floss would tear easily as you proceed with the pattern. That is why I decided to wash it. And there's another unpleasant thing that I found out about it. It washes out. The color washes out. Not completely. I mean, you can see it clearly on the camera that it is kind of a light green with darker spots, but it was more vibrant when it came, and the dye washed out a bit. I truly hope that it was the only. I mean, if you look at the back side, it is like white. So the pattern and the dye is primarily on the front side of the canvas. I truly hope. Well, there are two things that I rely on. First of all is that I will finish it quite soon, hopefully this year. And considering that I'm already 10% through the process, and I truly liked it. I worked with it only one day, and I've been able to stitch 700 stitches. It was like no strain at all. So firstly, I hope that I will finish it this year, and secondly, I hope that when I wash it the next time before like framing it or putting it into my roll, it's not gonna continue to wash out. Also, I will try adding some of vinegar to keep the paint, the dye in touch with the canvas. I don't know if that's gonna do anything about this type of dye that the brand used. I don't know, but I will definitely try that because I wouldn't want the color to wash completely out. I mean, that would be kind of a disappointment. I would still enjoy the pattern, but I would be disappointed that the background isn't the way that I wanted it to be. So as for the floss, there are 8 colors. I think this is what they call cotton floss. I'm no expert in type of floss. It doesn't matter to me. For me, it matters the outcome on the canvas. So far, I'm satisfied, and honestly, I think I could. I mean, this is the second video that I'm filming, and I think that every process that I've been working with, I could continue working on. And that's great because before I was kind of like pushed into working with some of my designs, and I was like counting each stitch towards the goal of like 700 or 1,000 stitches, and then I was like, I could like breathe out and set it aside. This is not the case, and this is once again another confirmation that every person needs their own approach to everything. One more start. This May, I mean, a couple weeks ago, my parents-in-law came from Ukraine, and I ordered the whole. I will show you my my haul in some upcoming videos. But I have bought a few designs from Luca-S, and they finally brought them, and I couldn't wait to start them. I mean, again, spoiler alert, I have 4 of them. I have all 4. There's like pomegranate, lemon, figs, and olives. This one is called Olive Palette of Mediterranean. Kind of suits the location. So I had my husband choose one. I flipped them like this so that he couldn't see what's on the front, and he chose the olives. I don't have anything against it because honestly I could have started any, but I knew that I should not probably start all of them at once because I mean, they are in different colors, but it's still the same style, and it might get boring to work with the same design over and over, kind of same design but different colors. So he chose olives unknowingly. I like olives, have nothing against it. This is the Tangled palette, so you can see how many colors I have already used. The design has 38 colors. I think that I've already used at least, no, not 1/3, probably maybe even half. The design came with 16 count Ada, and since it is kind of an ornamental pattern, I was convinced that it's gonna have counted backstitch and that I wouldn't have to change the canvas to even weave, but that's not the case. The backstitch on this design is anything but counted. I'll try to show it to you before I show my progress. Hold up, let me find something. For instance, as you can see, it goes right in the middle of the square. It goes like one half of a half. So it's not impossible, it's doable on Ada, but it is surely unpleasant. Along with my new acquisitions, my parents-in-law brought some of the fabrics that I also ordered in Ukraine, and this is one of them. It is 28 count Monica. Honestly, from Ubelhor, I truly love this canvas, and this is what came out of my recent start. I dedicated 4 days to it because I kind of, with the parents-in-law being here, I was kind of busy, didn't have that much time, but still I managed to add 1400 stitches on this design, and I'm a little over 9% through, with 14,000 still remaining, and only 10 out of these 14 stitches, the rest are backstitch. So you can imagine, I didn't think that it's gonna have that much backstitch, but I'm gonna show closer to you this one. Firstly, I started from the center. It was somewhere here with this olive. So I thought maybe I finished the whole branch of this olive, but then I decided that the main reason that attracted me was this mosaic. So I spent some time working on the olive branch, but then I decided to at least finish one of those squares, and since it was the closest, the easiest to count on, to reach while on stitching while stitching on even weave. So as for stitches, there are only 2 colors, this lemon yellow and this like dark green. The rest is backstitch, and the backstitch is done in 1 strand, in 2 strands, and like you can see every single element framed by this backstitch. There is barely anything left in this particular square. I don't know how it's gonna go with other ones, but this one had the most. I mean, if we consider stitches versus backstitch, I mean full stitch versus backstitch, it probably had 70% of backstitch and only 30% of full stitch. But still, I don't mind backstitch. firstly, it has to be logical. Secondly, it has to match the canvas that you use. Because if I decided to start it on 16 count 8, I would have probably regretted my decision and either put it somewhere at the bottom of my whip drawer and never come back to it, or I probably would have to restart it. Overall, satisfied with this design. If you do not know, or I don't know, maybe most of you are stitching using the paper chart. By the way, where's the paper chart? I'm gonna show it to you. This is the first time I've seen this approach from Luca-S, because I know that they have black and white patterns, which aren't always the most pleasant to work with. But this time, they decided to make life a bit easier for an average cross stitcher, and they outlined the back. They added backstitch in different colors. That was a surprise to me. I haven't seen this before. Maybe all of their newer kits come this way. Usually they don't have that much of backstitch, honestly. But this is how the regular pattern looks like. I would say that it is a bit small. You can get it upside down. I think it is quite small, and plus this branded background kind of maybe a bit confusing. Well, I don't know, but luckily they offer a digital pattern. There's a QR code included into the kit, so you have to scan it, like fill out your details, and then download the pattern that they sent, and you have a digital pattern. That is, in case you didn't know, they had this option. Not all of their kids have that, primarily the newer ones, but you can also reach out to them and ask for a PDF pattern or a saga pattern, depending on how old the design is. Okay, moving on to yet another sampler. I call it Catlander because it is a calendar full of cats. I had this crazy idea that I would be able to reach June in this run, but because it's April, May, June. But no, spoiler alert, no. Even though the design is as simple as it goes, I managed this little fur from my cat, who's always near when I'm stitching. So I had the 3-month December. Yes, December, January, February. No, it's January, February, March. Yes. Kind of makes no sense though. But I know that it's April, that's for sure, because there's Easter here. Yes. I was confused because I thought that it started from December, because for some reason many calendars start with December, but no, this one starts with January, February, March, and April. So I have 4 out of 12, and in this one I added, this little square, I don't know if you can tell, but it has 1500 stitches. So it is confusingly small, but it takes a fair share, I would say, of effort. I'm just trying to look at another one. The next one's going to be even bigger because it has 1700. So yeah, maybe it has 1700 because of the backstitch. Hold up. Yes, it still has 1700, and it is something as small as this. I think I wanted to say that the backstitch takes over the most, but no, it takes a fair share of the overall design. But anyhow, this is my April kitty. It's absolutely gorgeous. It has like Easter baskets and little chicks all over the cat, and this like such a cute heart on his, I don't know, on his side. Let's put it on his side. Without the backstitch, it looked like pretty much it looked like a beige spot on a white canvas. But then when you add the backstitch, it kind of transforms and becomes the design it is supposed to become. Overall, I'm satisfied with the outcome. I kind of want to take it into my next run, but I don't know, because I have chosen too many designs to stitch on during the upcoming period, but we'll talk about it later. So I have one more design to show you. And the last design that I want to show you in this run is going to be my birth fairy, the fairy of September. She was supposed to become the finish of May, but I got carried away with starts, and that's why I didn't finish it. This is how she looks at this point. I have such small scraps of various canvas, like Linda, Lagana, Eve, Monica, probably even, I don't know. And at first I didn't know why I kept them. I thought maybe I should have thrown them away because I rarely stitch something small like that. And then I thought maybe I could use them for mill heels, which is still remains a good idea. But then I came across this kind of also it is a calendar with the different little fairies, and I decided to use this. It has this like marble streaks. It is for sure Linda, but I'm not gonna tell you anything more because I don't ever keep those numbers. I do not recognize the canvas by those numbers, so I find no use in them. So I'm not gonna help you with this issue. If you wonder which type of Linda this is, which color, I don't know. Overall, this fairy has almost 4,500 stitches. A fair share of backstitch because, as you can see, it is one of the kind of older designs which usually typically come with this kind of square backstitch. It doesn't bother me. I'm absolutely okay with it. I have like zero organization for this fairy because when I stitch it, I take my floss bank, I take one symbol, for instance, I take the symbol, it is 550, I look this in my floss bank and I stitch it. And then I take the next one. So I don't have a special organization, but it's still, once again, it doesn't bother me. If you ask me if I would advise it to anyone else, I don't know, because it can be messy and can be more time consuming than if you had a properly organized design. But it's okay with me, and it's my unique individual approach. So as long as it doesn't bother me and the design progresses, I think it's okay. Surely it has to be the finish of the upcoming period, surely. Because I also want to finish it by September. I think I'm gonna make a few alterations. I'm gonna add a few alterations in the course of stitching. I will surely change the French knots to beads, and I might use some metallic floss to add some bling. Surely in the word September, I'm gonna use the blue metallic floss, and I don't know if there's also a blue outline somewhere. Oh yeah, her dress is outlined in blue. I think I haven't started it yet, so I will probably do that in metallic too, just to make her more fairy-like, to make her shine and sparkle and stuff. So yeah, this is the last piece I've been working with during this period. Oh, I'm sorry. During this period, I think that this portion of May, this part of May, turned out also quite productive. I'm more than satisfied with it, and I have some new ideas what to show in my next videos. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for your likes, for your comments and subscriptions. If you need something, usually I leave the most useful information that I can on the designs that I stitch in the description box. If I forget something, you can ask me in the comments below the video, so I will surely answer you. Maybe I'm a bit slower at answering these days, but I have my reasons other than it is summer. Maybe one day I'll share my reasons with you. We'll see how it goes. Other than that, thank you for staying with me. Thank you for all of your supportive words. I read all of your comments, and they truly help me proceed, because sometimes it gets harder to decide whether it's interesting for anyone or not to share your hobby. But I see your response, and I think that we're still on the same page, and until that fact remains, I'll try to continue filming and sharing my progresses with you as much as I can. So please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment if you like what you see. Stay safe. Enjoy the upcoming summer, which starts tomorrow, because today is the 31st of May. So enjoy your summer. Have a lovely time. Stay safe. Bye.